Heavy is the crown as Tron wins the box office, but at what cost? Warner Brothers re-ups executives, and YouTubers are taking over Hollywood? This and so much more in this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, what up, my guy?
What is up? I guess I'll go first, as always, with what I did this weekend. What did I do this week? I went home and spent the weekend with my parents, my father's birthday, and basically had him do manual labor for me on the motorcycle for
Happy
his birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday! You get to work on my motorcycle with me. No, I think he liked it. So that's like his main thing is to tinker on cars and stuff like that. So, or he lied to me. He might not have liked it at all.
Can you imagine he's
But
coming home and your mom's like, now, husband, be nice. Your son's going to want to work on the motorcycle with you. And he's like, oh, I don't want. Just angry.
yeah, no, well, he drove it around and he told me that he thought about just going back to the house, getting his helmet and just riding off into the sunset. I
That's
was like,
really
yeah, go to
sweet.
Mexico, never come back. Like, good luck. I don't know if it will.
That is very sweet, actually. I like that.
So, uh, and then I did get it back up north, and I rode it around. So I got it off the truck and into my buddy's yard, and I was like, man, I really don't want to push this up the hill. And so I was like, it runs. So in the grass, I got it started, and I rode it for a little bit, like probably 10 to 15 feet. It was odd. It was a weird feeling after like 10 years of riding, like never riding a bike. Like I have ridden a bike, but it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
And then now riding something with like way more horsepower than a bike and clutch and throttle and all of that.
A lot more
And
to worry
I
about.
got going. I was like, okay. And then it dies. I was like, what'd I do wrong? Like I just kept giving it more throttle, kind of like going up the hill, and it dies. And of course, like in your mind, having the rush of riding it, and then it dies, and it's like, what happened? What happened? Um, and I just got off and pushed it the rest of the way because the hard part was over. I rode through the hard part. Um, and I got it back up there and I sit on a kickstand and I'm like, fuel wasn't on.
Oh,
I
no.
ran out of fuel.
Party foul.
So honestly, I look back and I'm like, well, it was probably the best thing because if I had hit the bump onto the driveway of the asphalt, I don't know if I would have like been able to handle that. Whereas like I could push it over, no problem. But like if I had hit it at 10 miles an hour or at speed and not understanding motorcycle uh, etiquette and
Yeah, yeah.
how to ride one, it could have been bad. So I look back and it's probably a good thing that it died. It's fate. So
Yeah,
Ryan, how was your weekend?
I think that's just before we get on to what I did, I think
Yeah,
that this will be a fun like little tidbit to come back to in like a year, to be like
yeah,
think about where you'll be. You'll have your license. You'll have driven that thing around, having a good time because it'll be next fall, so you'll have the whole
yeah.
summer, and then you'll look back and be like, I don't know if I could take the bump onto the driveway at 10 miles an hour. Like I just think that'll be a fun like it's so cool to see like this passion of yours be birthed and watch it, especially through the lens of the show and our audience,
Yeah.
hopefully as well. That's really cool.
Well, I didn't like turned around and I was like, well, it wasn't that bad in the yard.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe I can go to the end of the driveway, turn around, and come back.
Oh, getting audacious there.
And I did. I took it. I got it started. I took off, went down to the end of the driveway, and at the bottom. So he's got a hill, and it goes down about like that slope. Kind of what I like pretty good hill. Like
Yeah.
I would not want to push the motorcycle up this hill.
Yeah.
And when I get to the bottom, I'm like, "Oh, wait, I don't know how to turn like that. Like, I can't go out into the road and, like, turn around in a tight enough circle." Because I mean, I've never turned on a motorcycle before, so I was like, "Do I risk it and try it in the middle of a street, which is not well traveled? It's decently quiet, but I was like, do I risk trying to turn a bike around, not knowing how,
Yeah.
and laying it over, or XYZ?" So I stop at the end of the driveway, clutch brake, like no problem there. And like I'm trying to move it, and it should like kind of move freely underneath you. I realize at that point my brake is like kind of shut. It's not
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
point where it won't move. Like I can push it, but like there is very much a lot of friction.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was a pain in the butt to go like sideways, back up, get turned back around,
Yeah.
and then I just took it back up the hill, no problem.
Yeah.
But that's the next project, is figure out why my brake is sticking and get new handlebars for it. But I wrote it now that like two or three other people have ridden it before I have, but now I can say I did.
Yeah. I think that's
Yep.
exciting. Like again, like I cannot wait till like we're at getting closer to year, what is it,
Yeah.
3 of Beyond the Screen a year from now, and to see not just as like a host, but like as your friend outside of the show as well.
Yeah.
But like I think it'll be fun conversation to have like a year from now. Um but what I did this weekend, um this weekend I worked shockingly.
Uh,
I was commissioned by the university that I work for. So a part of what I do is like with the arts, and so one of the schools that I do work for is the School of Music, and in the School of Music is our marching band, and it was a football game, and so they asked me to hang around for the game and pregame and or pregame and then during the game to
yeah,
get
pregame.
yeah, to get some photography for not only their archives but for our socials and stuff, and so I worked what is essentially a full day on Saturday, which it was fun. It's interesting because I worked on the athletics side, so usually when I'm at events like that, I'm used to having a shoulder cam, like or a camera on my shoulder, and worrying about what's happening on the field. And so it was really odd for like a quarter, like hearing the stuff happening and like seeing the setup of all like of the production team for ESPN there, and not having to worry about it. It's like because you have like when you usually do that, like I did that for 2.5 years, 3 seasons. So when you have these social, like you hear these auditory cues of like if you're covering something and let's say that like you're following the quarterback, right? If quarterback throws it, you start to hear like the crowd start to get worked up in like that half a second. Your instinct is to turn and follow the ball, right? Like it's like you hear these things that get you used to it. Most of the time you're ball following, but sometimes you're like shooting specifically for a player, so you stick on them. And so it's like there are moments where like I'm getting like this tuba player, like I'm getting this action shot of this guy playing in the crowd, and then I hear the crowd behind me, and my instinct is to like whip around and get whatever's happening because it's like, oh, the crowd's reacting, and it's just
Yeah.
like, and in that moment, I'm like, oh, I don't do that anymore. It's like
No.
I don't have to do that. Like I could keep doing what I'm doing. So it was really an interesting experience for the whole endeavor. But like by halftime, it was like I kind of got used to it, but like it was odd because again, usually when you're in that moment, you kind of play to the crowd. You're seeing what the crowd's reacting to, and you're trying to like capture the moment. And you're not doing that necessarily for when you're highlighting like the band or you're like working socials for something not related to the football team. So that was fun. That was a different
Yeah.
experience, and I look forward to the next one. And then on Sunday, Jake, me and you had a date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna let you just say that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. We watched Tron. We watched the new
Yeah.
Tron, and we're gonna have a special out. Is it gonna be later this week, Jake? Do we want to work to get that out later
I
this
have
week?
no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
think.
check back in late this week, and we will answer the age old question of is this movie worth watching? We talked a little bit about it on the way back before
Yeah.
we parted ways, and I
It's not what you expect.
it's not.
Clickbait.
It's not. I think we have some hot takes. I think we have some unique perspective, and I look forward to telling you at home about what's going on with Tron, outside of the numbers, which of which we'll get into today. But before we do that, we always start our show with a little micro segment called "What Are We Drinking?" in which we go over the various caffeinated or non-caffeinated beverages that get me, Jake, and our director Emily through our show. Usually at this point, I would say, Emily, come forth from beyond the veil and tell us what you're drinking. However, she's not here today. She is actually, she's going to be in a play. And so she's doing her
Oh,
thing, going through, I think, Tech Week is what she said. And so she is not here with us. I'm pushing the buttons. Forgive
I can
me.
tell.
Forgive me. Yeah, I was gonna say, forgive me. I'm multitasking to the max on this episode and next week as well. She won't be here next week either. But we miss you, Emily, and thank you for all you do. And we're excited to have you back beyond next week. But before we get going into what we're drinking, I'm going to go ahead and read or read what Emily said. She is drinking tonight what she calls gunpowder green tea with honey. Never heard that. I don't know what gunpowder green tea is, but she says because she's sick from rehearsing
That's like
outdoors.
that's like Black Rifle coffee, right? Like that's super conservative tea.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, she making
Yeah.
a political statement.
Gunpowder tea.
Gunpowder
Yeah.
green tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make the
We can tell
liberals
who she
cry.
voted for. Yeah.
That commercial, you hear an eagle and like a water
Dang
drop.
liberals. Yeah.
But no, so she's drinking gunpowder green tea with honey. So good for her. We're excited just to hear more about what goes on with her play. She's very excited for it. Beyond that, Jake, what are you drinking on this fine evening?
I'm drinking water.
Ooh.
Flavored energy water. Tell
Mm.
me, it is supposedly good for you. I don't know. We'll see.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know if I keel over and die.
Well, you will
But
see
I'm
it.
drinking water, caffeinated water. I don't know. How do I describe this? This is it's got this pod at the top in the lid, and you press it down,
and it shoots the flavor in.
It disperses some flavor, and I say some because it really is kind of. It's right up to the point where I'm dealing with it, right? It's not too low of a flavor that it's like LaCroix or like what are the other like seltzer waters that have
Yeah.
walked by a fruit. This actually had like the fruit might have cried into it, I guess. So there's
Yeah.
like some more flavor there. But water, caffeinated water.
Yeah. What you're saying is the water actually touched the fruit rather than what you said
Yes.
walk by it.
Yeah, there is some essence of blueberry and some watermelon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
What are you
watermelon,
drinking?
I'm drinking a sugar-free Red Bull, watermelon flavored, and we had this conversation about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago before we were recording about how watermelon is one of the only fruits that doesn't actually taste like, or fruit flavors that doesn't actually taste like the fruit it's based off of. It like everyone knows what artificial watermelon tastes like, from the gum to the candies. It does not taste like what watermelon actually tastes like.
No.
So
I would argue that grape is the same. Like I love an artificial grape,
but it doesn't
do
necessarily
not,
taste great.
No.
It just tastes
No.
purple. I don't know how to describe it. That is
Yeah.
just what it tastes like. I'll agree
I'm
with
a sucker
with
for it.
I'm about to say
I'm
purple.
a sucker.
I'll agree with grape being up there, but I feel like the rest of them, like even artificial banana, kind of like you can see where they're going. You're like, okay, this is sort of banana. Orange, same way. Okay, yeah, this is sort of orange. This is citrusy. Beyond whatever. Even like apricot, which I think is what I had last week. Like, okay, this kind of tastes like apricots. This,
Right.
what is watermelon artificial flavor? It just tastes sweet. It just tastes sweet. Like it's just, I don't know. But anyway, it's not bad. It's a little too sweet for my liking, but I can get behind it. It's getting me through today. So, huzzah, I suppose.
Huzzah.
And on that note, fellas, we're going through and getting on with our episode. That is the end of What Are We Drinking? So we're going to go ahead and move on into, right before we get into the official numbers, we hop into our predictions. So we'll go ahead and show you what happened at the box office this past week. Our first segment, as always, are box office numbers, in which this week, Tron Ares finished 1, Roofman finished 2, One Battle After Another finished 3rd, Gabby's Dollhouse returns to finish 4th, and a shocker, Soul on Fire finishes 5th. We'll go back to the top and tell you about what those numbers mean and how they kind of operate. But again, before that, we're going to go over how we did last week in the predictions. So if you look at your screens for our visual watchers, you will see how we predicted last week. So I predicted Tron, One Battle After Another at 2, Anemone at 3, The Smashing Machine at 4, and Gabby's Dollhouse at 5. You can see that I wasn't very accurate, and Jake was right there with me in one of the rare weeks where we were unified in most of our predictions. Jake and I both had the same 1 through 3, and then at 4, Jake had Roofman, and 5 at Gabby's Dollhouse. And again, for our visual watchers, if you keep watching, you'll see how we did. And we both equally sucked. We both
Actually, I think The Conjuring beat Soul on Fire
did it.
by 300,000.
Did the
Yeah.
numbers approve?
Yeah, sorry, I did not catch that before we aired. So actually, The Conjuring holds 5,
We
and
will.
we still got them wrong. But
Right. Let's
but
go. Let's go over, and we'll also talk about Soul on Fire at 6. But we'll go
yeah,
over the top 4, and I'll read you live, making an audible here as the numbers finalize on us. But we will go over exactly what's going on with our top 5. On that note, we'll go ahead and get into it. So number 1, Tron Ares, Disney's soft reboot. A lot of places are calling it a reboot. I thought this was supposed to be a sequel, but apparently not. The reboot lands well below expectations, earning $33.2 million domestically, which is over $10 million short of the $45 million the film was projected to earn heading into the weekend. To show just how bad things were, the film's Friday gross, which includes Thursday showings and early access Wednesday showings, only earned under $5 million, sitting at 4.8, which, according to some sources, that what I just read to you was from the Hollywood Reporter. Other sources were saying that Friday mark was worse than Morbius.
dang.
So let that sink in. The film earned $60 million, a long shot from both the film's $180 million production budget and the astonishing $400 million it needs to break even after marketing. So Disney poured everything into this film, hoping it would succeed, I should say. So the IMDb synopsis for this film is, quote, a highly sophisticated program, Ares, is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission, which is, I think that's really underselling the story a bit. But that's the IMDb story. While the film earned a 57% on the tomato meter, it earned a more than respectable 87% on the popcorn meter, showing that what audiences did go and view the film, they enjoyed it. So, Jake, what do we think about number 1? What do we think about Tron after we've seen it without giving away our review that we'll release later? What do you think?
I think that this is actually this movie is plagued, I assume, by the Leto stereotype. I think that this movie caught more flack, I guess, because of the prior, uh, I mean, quote unquote failures. I'm not sure if all of them were, but like that had Jared Leto in it. Like this is the aftermath of a bad Joker and Morbius.
Yeah.
And not giving away my review, I just think that the reason that Tron isn't that good on the tomato meter is not because of Leto. Um, and that's where I'll leave it. I mean, that is probably a crazy thing to say, but something I made a point to Ryan in the car on the way back um, is that I don't know if it says anything about Leto's acting, but he did really good as a AI who wants to be a real person. I don't know if that says anything about him or his
Yeah.
acting, but he did very good at the role he was given, regardless if that's how he acts in real life or not.
Right. The dude, this role played a little too close to his personality, is what you might be hinting at.
Yeah, yeah. Which
But
I don't know Leto personally, but I would assume that he's a little odd,
he's kind of
like
weird.
an AI, like an
Known
aware AI.
known for his method acting antics.
Which
Sorry, go
do
ahead.
you know what he's done, or do we have that in the quick hits? I can.
What?
I
You talking
think
about
he
his
sent
antics?
malware. He sent
That's
malware to the cast of Tron.
that's what's going around on the internet. I don't know how true it is, but yeah, like
Yeah, I don't know.
if I remember correctly, there was something with rats when he was acting as the Joker. Like he sent
Yeah.
live rats to that might be another just myth, but like
Or was it bats with Morbius?
maybe it was bats with Morbius. It's just something to that effect to where the guy just does weird things and he's just kind of an eccentric guy. And so
Yeah.
the thing is, I understand the Jared Leto hate. I think he's kind of odd, but without giving away too much, I really can't go into anything to add to what you said because it'll ruin our next episode.
Yeah.
So tune it back in later this week, and you'll hear exactly. Not only will we go over the story of what story there was, but we'll also give you our unfiltered opinions and thoughts regarding the film. But on that note, we'll go ahead and move on past Tron, and we'll go into the rest of our top 5. Finishing second is Roofman, another film debuting in the top 5. It's a Miramax and Paramount joint romantic comedy venture. It finishes with $8.1 million in its domestic opening. While not quite up to par with expectations, this $8 million is great when in comparison to its $19 million production price tag. The film's IMDb synopsis is, quote, A characteristic criminal, while on the run from the police, hides in a hidden space of a toy store. There, he adopts a new identity and becomes involved with an employee, beginning a relationship as unlikely as it is risky. The rom-com earned an 85% across the board thus far on the tomato and popcorn meters, showing rare continuity between audiences and critics, which usually lends itself to saying this is a good movie. So we'll go ahead and keep going. Finishing third in its third weekend in theaters is Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, pulling in another $6.8 million at the domestic box office. This brings its totals to $54.6 million domestically and $138 million globally, officially bringing the $130 million bet from Warner Brothers out of the red and into the black. Finishing fourth is Gabby's Dollhouse, bringing in another $3.45 million domestically. The film's totals include $26.5 million domestically and $46.3 million globally. And if I remember correctly, the film was $35 million to produce, so this is another film that has become profitable this week. So seeing profitable films in a slow weekend in Hollywood is a good thing. We're seeing good things this week. And lastly, fifth, we will talk about sixth because it was up until, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock today.
Yeah.
Soul on Fire was fifth, so we'll go ahead and go through our six. But finishing fifth is Warner Brothers' The Conjuring Last Rites. Again, it takes a top 5 spot in its 6th week in theaters, stealing it as from the aforementioned Soul on Fire at the very last second at the bell. What was it, 300,000 that it won by? I mean, a tight race for number 5. This brings the domestic total to 172.6 and 473.5 million internationally or globally. With the highest budget of all the Conjuring movies with a $55 million price tag, this movie is proving to be a massive success even with marketing not factored in. And we'll talk a little bit more later about the success of the year for Warner Brothers, and Conjuring is a big piece of that. In 6th, we don't usually do this. This is odd.
Sorry,
yeah. In 6th is, again, Soul on Fire, a faith-based film from Affirm Films, a drama. So it earned a respectable $2.8 million domestically, making the film instantly profitable for Affirm Films because that's what it cost to make. It cost $3 million to make, and it earned $2.8 out of the gate. So it will become profitable for a film that probably didn't pay for a lot of marketing outside of what going on. What are like the Christian like media outlets, BYU TV and like yada yada yada, etc. So very likely that this is a very profitable film for Affirm Films. The IMDb synopsis is, quote, after suffering an incident, a young boy ends up relying on his faith, or his family, his faith, and his community in his fight for survival. The film currently has a 98% on the popcorn meter with over 250 verified reviews from audience members. However, it is yet to obtain a critical review. So keep that in mind. Critics have not reviewed this film. So the 98% is from those who have seen it. And there's over 250 of them. So there's some credence to some of it, at least. Other notes, again, I was going to say Conjuring Last Rites drops out of the top 5, but it doesn't. So The Smashing Machine tumbled out of the top 5. And an interesting note, Daniel Day-Lewis is returning Anemone film. It earned just over $1 million, which would have put it in the top 10, but it wasn't listed. And I think, Jake, you put on a note at the top, it was only released to 879 theaters, an accurate limited release tag, as we've talked about. If you look at Box Office Mojo and their upcoming films, they all say limited.
Yeah.
So whatever. But the fact that
it's hard to see which one's limited and which one's wide, because you could have Conjuring, which is sitting at like 2,300. If a movie debuts with that, sometimes they call it wide, sometimes they call it limited. And I don't think it's because of the number of theaters now as much as it's like, if I was coming out with a movie and I was like, this is a wide release because this is all we could get it into, which is 2,300. Whereas my limited release of a much larger movie like Tron, whereas a wide would be as many theaters as I can get it into being 4,000, then my limited release is 2,000. And so it's not so much literally the number that dictates the limited versus wide. I think it's the starting out limited release. So like, this is how many we're going to release it to this week, and then we'll do a wide release to the rest of them after that. And so that's kind of like, well, how am I supposed to know how many you're going to do in the first? So it's hard to bet on them besides knowing what's coming.
Exactly, your point is where I was going to, which makes our little segment very challenging, which makes when we get them 5 out of 5 even more magical. Because like, we're not, again, for those who are uninitiated and unacquainted with our show, we essentially are betting blind. We are not going in like we have our preconceived notions and we kind of have an understanding of what usually pops off and what doesn't. But we're not looking at
Yeah.
predictions. We're not looking at forecasts. We're not looking at estimations. We don't go into this saying, "Oh, Anemone is only going to release in 1,000 theaters," because one, that's really hard to find out. But two, where's the fun? So we try to predict off of our knowledge and using an educated guess of what happened the past weeks and months as to what might happen next week. So before we get into this week's predictions, do you have any final thoughts or any comments on the rest of the top 10 or beyond?
Something I did point out to Ryan before the podcast was that Tron was released to 4,000 uh, theaters, which is like big number, right? I don't think we have seen a 4,000, but I don't remember what it was. It was a month or two
It probably
ago.
was another Disney, if I had to
Yeah,
guess.
4,000 is a lot, and it's likely that like some will drop it
Yeah.
next week. I would say it's not going to go up at
No.
all. Like I would say that there are some theaters on that list that will drop it after the first week.
What is
Um,
the number we usually see? It's like 50, around 45 to 65% of a drop in
uh,
ticket sales the week
in
after.
in money, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So just to, like one battle after another, which is in its third week, which is still like huge, still getting money. Lost 500 theaters in its third week.
yeah.
That means like 500 theaters decided that the third week it was not popular anymore and took it out. Um, let's see, is there another one on number two? Good Boy. Good Boy didn't lose any theaters in its second week, but there's a Casper re-release. Lost almost more than half
Oh
of the theaters
no.
carrying it
Poor guy.
in its second. Um, Bone Lake released to 1,000 ish and lost half in its second week.
Mm,
Um, so it's not uncommon for these limited releases anyway to
yeah.
lose a bunch of theaters in their second week. But let's see. Outside of that, if I had legs, I'd kick you. Got 23rd, but it only released to 4 theaters.
They're
It's just something that Ryan pointed out.
they're saying that if I had legs, I'd kick you because that's got Conan, right? That's the one with Conan O'Brien. They're saying that that one is Oscar nominee. Like they're saying, like watch for that
Really?
one come awards season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
got ASAP Rocky, Conan,
yeah.
bunch of other people.
So keep out.
Yeah,
You might not hear about it right now, but keep your eye out for it because I'm hearing, at least from what I'm reading from like Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter from there. I will read forecast for the Oscars, and that's what they're saying is that one will be one that you will see a lot of later, or potentially could see a lot of later from the Academy. So if you're interested in that kind of thing,
gotcha.
keep your eyes out. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last bit of our first segment, which is our box office preview. So we'll talk about our predictions, tell you what's coming out in the upcoming week, and tell you why we have things the way we have them. Jake, you talked before that you wanted me to go first. Is that still how you want it to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
my top 5 starts with Black Phone 2. A lot of people are saying that this is going to be this generation's Freddy Krueger, and I think they're right. I think this looks amazing. I think it looks. I like the fantastic that it's taken the route of the sci-fi and the horror aspect of this guy was so evil that even beyond death, he is something that will stay. Also, something to point out too is the lead from the How to Train Your Dragon. What's his name? Mason Thames, I think is what his name is. He is the lead in Black Phone 2. So he's coming up with seemingly a great sequel performance, having not even seen it yet, but seeing how critics are responding and how people are excited for this. Keep his name in your mind as well as someone who could be something big down the line. His sophomore effort, at least as an borderline B plus A-list actor, it seems to be up there. So Black Phone 2 at 1. I just think there's too much hype behind it for it not to finish 1. Good Fortune, the Keanu Reeves comedy where he's an angel, he's a guardian angel sent down to earth, and he's bad at it, is essentially the gist of that comedy from what I've seen. I believe in the power of Keanu. I believe in the power of a good comedy. Especially this year, we've seen a resurgence with films like Naked Gun and Liam Neeson, that film succeeding as well as it did. And you look at a Tron film that's being not just review bombed, but it's getting the Jared Leto treatment. And I've seen a lot of people say that Tron has the Marvelification from the Disney where the story's not as good. So I feel like a lot of people will tune away from it. I think we're looking at a 30% or a 50% drop. at least, and that's with good films. So I think, and not to say Tron is a bad film per se. Again, come back for our review later, but Tron being as hated as it's being from critics and some fans, I think it will drop a lot more than 50%. So I think it will stay 3. And then after that, I think One Battle After Another and Roofman. I think One Battle being as critically acclaimed, and the fact that in its 3rd week, you said it's still as popular as it is, I don't think it will drop as fast as Roofman. If Roofman only earned 8 million in its first week and people weren't turning out for Channing Tatum and Kristen Dunst, I don't think they're going to come out for their 2nd week. And so I trust Leo DiCaprio and Paul Thomas Anderson more than I do Channing Tatum and Roofman. So I'm going to stick with this top 5. So again, Black Phone 2, Good Fortune, Tron Ares, One Battle After Another, and Roofman is my prediction for top 5 next week.
I gotcha. I think you're wrong. Yeah, yeah. So I've got Tron holding strong, even at a 50 to 60%. We're still talking about 15 million, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know if Good Fortune's going to pull that or not,
Yeah.
especially with Black Phone pulling in the audiences, maybe. But so I'm going to put Tron ahead of Good Fortune. Good Fortune, not only like Keanu Reeves is a bad angel. I'm going to give you a little bit more from what I saw in the trailer was that he had swapped a wealthy, uh, was it Seth Rogen was a wealthy individual, and he swapped. Oh, what's that actor's name? Um, it's the other Aziz
Oh,
Ansari.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he, which Aziz is hard on his luck. I think he plays Arj. I think ARJ is how you say his or spell it. And so he swaps them to teach one of them a lesson, and ends up being Arj loves being Seth Rogen's character with all the money,
Yeah.
and Seth Rogen's like, "What the heck, dude?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the backstory of him being a bad angel, and then he gets stuck with no powers because he made that decision, and then he's got to get them back together
When we
or
say
get them swapped.
when we say bad angel, we don't mean like he's a villain. We mean like he's just not good at being an angel.
Right. And that his punishment is you have to do it without like your angel powers, is you have to get them to realize they had it better than the other
Yeah.
in their spots.
Yeah.
So um I've got that at 3rd, even though I talk highly of it. I wish it would be higher, but I think Tron will still pull more money. Um, and then I've got Roofman beating One Battle After Another, um, mainly because even if it does take a hit like 50%, it drops to 4. Whereas I think another 38 to 40 off of One Battle will it'll get it close. I mean, I think that one's going to be closer than Tron and Good Fortune.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like flipping where I in script and hoping it works. I think he's too optimistic for Good Fortune.
Again, I lead with my heart.
Yeah.
I was asking. I mean, before we even recorded, I was like, Jake, I shouldn't tell you this, but who do I pick? Do I pick Keanu or do I pick Jared Leto? And I said it out loud, and I was like, so I was like, I think I said verbatim,
Yeah.
I believe in the power of Keanu because especially in a biblical sense where he's playing literally a guardian angel. So I'm
Yep.
definitely leading with my heart. I'm not leading with my mind, and you're definitely going the more logical approach, which will probably serve you a lot better than I'm going to be served with my hope.
It hasn't been. It has not been serving me at
If
all.
you go back and watch, for those who have watched up to this point, if you remember, the one time I won was the one time I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna do something, and it was the one time I got 5 out of 5. So who knows, man? I feel like every time I've actually tried with these, I've gotten them so wrong, and the one time I was like, I don't know, I nailed it. So lightning in a bottle. Anyway, that has been our predictions, and on that, I think that is the end of our first segment. So coming up after the break, DeLuca and Abdi get renewals at Warner, and content creators powering Hollywood? Ooh, interesting, right?
Hmm.
Coming up next. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 2, which is our major story. So we'll go over 2 to 3 major headlines. Usually it's 2. and we'll tell you about the things you should know, the biggest from this past week in Hollywood. We'll start with where we usually start. There's usually a few big names that are doing a lot of stuff. If you're watching, if you're a longtime viewer, it's either AI, Paramount, or Warner Brothers. And we're back with Warner Brothers. So, Warner Brothers film chiefs get contract renewal after a massive 2025. Recently, Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav sent an internal memo announcing the official re-upping of motion picture chairs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. This comes after, earlier this year, Bloomberg reported that Zaslav was looking into potential replacements for the duo. Deadline points out, however, that this report from Bloomberg was not only unverified, they went as far as to say, quote, "We didn't follow nor believe that news," which I think is pretty telling, but that this was made before the success of a Minecraft movie. So take that in mind, is that Deadline's like, get out of here. We didn't care about this to begin with, and they pointed out that they said that well before there was any sort of success in the minds of Warner Brothers for the year of 2025. So, in his internal memo, Zaslav breaks down 2025 Warner Brothers by the numbers. The studio officially surpassed the $4 billion mark on the year, the first studio to do so in 2025, and the first time Warner Brothers has reached this mark since 2019. Keep in mind, the studio reached this mark with just 11 films released thus far. The studio also saw 9 films debut at number 1 at the global box office, culminating in 15 weeks of number 1 at the box office on the year. And as things stand, Warner Brothers holds 3 of the top 10 highest grossing films of the year. Zaslav would state, quote, "When I first arrived at the studio, recommitting this storied company to its theatrical roots, renewing Warner Brothers' long-standing role as a home for the world's best storytellers, and reestablishing this iconic studio to its position as an industry leader in terms of quality and box office success were among my key objectives." Continuing, Mike and Pam's unwavering leadership and commitment to this business has been critical to our success this year, with countless box office records broken across Warner Brothers Pictures and New Line Cinema. Breaking down the numbers for Warner Brothers and their stellar year, we see the previously mentioned a Minecraft movie, which made $957 million worldwide, then films like Superman, which made $615 million, The Conjuring: Last Rites, which made $467 million, Sinners, $366 million, and Weapons, $266 million, all adding. In fact, if you add those up, that's what, over 200 or 2.5 billion of the 4 billion they've made so far in just that handful of films I've announced. So a stellar year. DeLuca and Abdi also sent out a response to their boss's official announcement of their return, stating, quote, "We knew from our first meeting with David that his unwavering vision, leadership, and resolve to be a destination for filmmakers with singular visions would lead Warner Brothers back to its founding principles of making fearless, entertaining, and cinema-worthy films for audiences of all ages." The pair would go on to describe the excitement for the upcoming year's slate of films and, quote, "continue making every film experience an event worthy of the Warner Brothers shield." Looking at that slate of films that they mentioned, Warner looks forward to 2026 releases like Wuthering Heights, The Bride, The Mummy, Mortal Kombat 2, Supergirl, Clayface, The Cat in the Hat, and more. Something else to note that happened this week: Paramount sent in their official offer. Paramount tried to get Warner Brothers. I think it was $20 a share. Warner Brothers said no.
Heck no.
David Zaslav said, hey, while we might be valued at $17 a share right now, when we split in April from Discovery and the television networks, we'll be worth a lot more than that. So keep in mind, from the numbers I was reading, not only did David Ellison say, bet, I'll be back with another bet, it's looking like that whatever money he comes together with will be around the $50 billion mark, and that will have to also take on the $30 billion in debt that Warner Brothers has amassed thus far. So a potentially $80 billion acquisition if it happens from the Ellisons and Paramount, and David Ellison is like, I'm going to do it. So we'll see, but also to note, if that split from Discovery does happen, DeLuca and Abdi, with them sticking around, they will be the leadership. That it's going to be them. So this isn't just Zaslav saying, you did a good job, we'll keep you for another year. This is Zaslav putting his flag in the sand and saying, no, you guys are not just the leadership for the next year. You guys are the leadership for new look Warner after this year. Because it looks like Zaslav, at least at this point, is dead set on keeping Warner Brothers the way it is, at least the way it will be after the split. So It's one thing to say that Warner Brothers has had a successful 2025 because they have. But true
Yeah.
legacy and success is measured by consistency and sustainability, right? I come from a sports background. If you can't keep doing it year after year, there's no legacy there, there's no success, right? With that being said, after looking at the next year's slate of films, can Warner find any semblance of success that they had from the year of 2025 in 2026?
So, I mean, looking at their releases here, and The Bride, I think is going to get a lot. Obviously, Supergirl, Clayface, Cat in a Hat. Like these are big names. These are going to drive audiences. Good IPs so far. Mortal Kombat 2, Wuthering Heights. I think they're still on it. Like I still think they're going to be strong. And then even looking forward to 27 with the Batman Part 2 and I think there's another Superman
A
coming
Minecraft
out
movie?
and Minecraft 2, right? So I think this is unless they're bought and a stick gets tossed into the spokes and they go flying. I think they're slated to make a pretty good, uh, firm foothold for the next 2 years
Yeah.
until we start hearing about the 2028 releases. Uh, I just heard that like Disney's coming out with another Lion King, and it's like, oh Jesus! So I think Warner Bros is here to stay,
Isn't that
especially
crazy?
with the IPs, right? So
Let's think about, because everything that we've seen thus far, and I'm going to throw some of these quotes on screen, and I apologize. Emily makes these, and they're great graphics, but it takes a second to read and then come back and to go back in the middle of the story. So for those
yes,
at home, you can read some of these quotes. It's a lot of there's a lot of love affair going on. There's a lot of, obviously, like, there's a lot of celebrating. There's a lot of kind of saying, we're here, we did it, we're here. And while that is great, my thing is that, like, we can't forget the craziness that was Zaslav and Warner Brothers, and how people were talking about, is Zaslav worth the money? Is Zaslav worth? He got this huge increase, and earlier this year, the board, the very people that he has to like get his salary approved by, they denied his whatever salary he was going to get. They said he's not worth it in a survey. And so it was like all this
yeah,
stuff, and then all of a sudden, whenever he says he's going to split from Warner Brothers, or split Warner Brothers from Discovery, people were mad that, like, oh, you're going to just dump all the debt onto what is Discovery? You're going to just do that, and so it's like there was this whole thing. If this man successfully turned this around, this is one of the biggest, like, turnabouts I've ever
yeah,
seen. Like, this is going to be studied in like film classes forever. It's
or
crazy.
business classes.
Yeah. Yeah, like, this is gonna be, and the thing is, we've had this joke before where people will use somebody as like example. Some business student's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be like David Zaslav," and it's like, oh,
I'm going to be an asshole,
yeah,
and it's
it,
going to work out.
it's gonna work out. The thing, what's really ironic here, and I'll get into what I think about 26, because I think you made a good point in bringing up 27. I'm kind of rooting for them.
Yeah,
I find myself rooting for Warner Brothers because, like, the buzzers were surrounding. They
yeah,
made the turnaround. They've had the successful year. They're probably going to be the most highest earning, or at least one of the highest earning production houses of 2025. I would hope they'd be the
yeah,
highest on original. They bet that when they needed to make a pivot, they didn't do the Disney, and they didn't go with nostalgia baiting. They didn't go with the sequel and the remake. They went with originals. They went with Sinners. They went with
yeah.
weapons, right? What were the other films? They went with a Minecraft movie, which I know is an adaptation, but that's super original. Like, the idea of, like, trying to find a story within that.
And then they leaned on existing, um, not IPs, but like DC.
Yeah,
Like they leaned on DC and turned out new versions of IPs and new IP. I mean, Peacemaker,
yeah,
insanely big hit that was recent. Nobody knew who Peacemaker was until he was in Suicide Squad,
yeah.
right? I think that was his first debut, or was it his
No,
season
yeah,
one?
that was his debut. So Peacemaker follows James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Right.
Like, Zaslav giving the keys to DC to Gunn, great decision,
Yeah.
and Saffron, great decision.
Yeah. And then Creature Commandos being a resounding success as
Great
well.
show.
And then the what was the other? there was another. Was it a Suicide Squad episodes TV show?
No. I'm trying to think of what. So Waller is going to come out. That's one coming out in the near
No,
future. But it was the only ones we've seen so far are Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, and Superman. That's been
I thought
what
there
we've
was
seen
another
thus
one.
far. I don't think there is another one. There might be. I could be missing
Yeah, I
one.
could be wrong.
But
Anyway,
I find myself like watching them fending off the buzzards that are Netflix, that are Paramount and beyond, right? NBC was even mentioned as a potential suitor. Seeing them fend them off and succeeding in a way, and then you look forward at their 2026. I feel like 26 will be a successful year for them, but I think it's more of a bridge year because, again, we're talking about DC. Supergirl and Clayface, I think, will knock it out of the park. I think that both of those will be 500 million or more. I think they'll be successful just because people want to see what's following up Superman, and they will want to see what Clayface is all about, right? Two, I think Mortal Kombat will be successful. Carl Urban being in the film, obviously a beloved actor. I think that
yeah.
that one will be successful. Will it be as successful as the DC films? I don't think so, but could be close. I don't know what The Mummy will turn out. I think it is an original remake, like it's a new thing, like from a new creator. But who knows, right? The
Yeah.
Bride. Will there be some fatigue from Frankenstein films and news by the time The Bride comes out in February? Who knows? But Maggie Gyllenhaal and not Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale are they're two individuals who can pull audiences just by name, and the fact that you have them in a role like this could be something that pulls people in. Going back, Wuthering Heights, Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. Could
Yep.
that pull in The Cat in the Hat? We've talked at nauseum about how kids films and family friendly films are the place that rules the box office. So I think that 2026 has a lot of potential. I don't know what.
And then, like you had said with Waller, I think I don't know if Creature Commandos is getting another one. I know Lanterns is going to come out.
Is that 26?
Um, I think that's 26.
Nice.
Yep. Supergirl's 20, like you said. Um, I think what else? Another Batman films in the work. The Brave and the Bold
Mm-hmm.
is going to be in there. And then I want to say that the Penguin's getting
A
another
season. I
season,
think they
right?
said it was getting a season 2,
Yeah.
but I've
So
not heard anything in a
I
while.
mean, outside of theatrical, like you also have HBO Max, and among all of the other things that are on there, including the Adult Swim, and like they're hosting, I think, Smiling Friends right now, which
Yeah.
is super big. That they just came out their another season, and they're on their second episode, and I'm trying to keep away from spoilers. Like it is like the golden age for Warner Bros. Right now, and it doesn't seem to be um, finding an end anytime soon.
No, I think I went over that list again and kind of broke them
Yeah.
down a little bit, simply to say I think 2026 will be very successful. But when you look at what they've got coming out in 27, regardless of what Supergirl's received as, when they see David Cornsweet in Superman 2, or what is it, Man of
Yeah.
Tomorrow, they're
Yeah.
going to show up. They're going to say, oh, I want to see the second one. That's going to be a $500 million film, or if not more.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
te-
seeing people like, oh, I'm starting to get evil again. Gotta watch Superman
yeah,
2025.
yeah. I'm telling you, Superman 2 is going to be up there. The Batman 2 and a Minecraft movie
Dude,
2. The fact that, and yes, they're all sequels, but think about the hype that was surrounding the first one. If nothing
I will
else,
be set
yeah, for
for
all of them.
Batman 2.
I'll be
For
all of them.
Batman 2, I'll be there. I have not seen Superman yet.
It's great.
That's why I'm still
Please,
evil, folks.
please watch it.
I've not been joy baited yet.
Please watch it. But I'm telling you, 27 is going to be the year of Warner Brothers, and I think 26 will be a continuation of this year. I think 26 will still be very successful for Warner Bros. But we're going to talk about 27 a lot like we're talking about 25. I just feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it in my bones when you talk about those three.
Yeah.
You just know a Minecraft movie or a Minecraft movie 2 with Superman and the Batman. No way they don't succeed. I feel like they're gonna have some heavy hitters. But anyway,
But you've also got GTA 6 coming out next year. I mean, 2026, I've seen memes um just talking about how amazing of a year 2026 is going to be outside of cinema, just as a whole, of everything that's coming out.
yeah.
Um I mean, including video games. I mean, we've already got Battlefields out right now. So we're gonna have a great year of like that video. I'm thinking video games now. That's off the top of my head, but
Well,
um,
media. Media in general.
For media in general, 2026 is going to be crazy. Um, in general, not even just for Warner Bros.
Going back again to Warner Brothers, like shows that they've got, we've talked a lot about their movies and their DC shows. The Pit has season 2 in January or February. I mean, an Emmy-winning show. Another one coming out with season 2 in 2026. We've singularly focused on the box office here, but I like that we've expanded to TV shows because HBO, their rebrand back to HBO, I think has absolutely nailed. Like it's helping them so much, and it helps that the shows that they've come out with are also great. Like I know a lot of people didn't like Peacemaker, the finale, but I'm not going to say spoilers here. I will say I did see a lot of people say, or especially one of our friends that we know, shout out Matt. He put it into a great perspective in which he said that he felt like the season finale of Peacemaker felt like it was just the follow-up to the season finale, and he felt that episode 7 was the actual season finale, and that 8 was just tying up loose ends, and that was just the way, and just setting up for whatever's next. Couldn't agree more. I feel like that is exactly what it was, is the main story was what you saw in episode 7, and then 8 is just rounding up the loose ends, and then saying, cliffhanger, but no spoilers, but shocker, sorry. But, I mean...
Right.
It is what it is, and I don't think it deserves the hate. It definitely wasn't what I expected, and when it ended, I was kind of like, oh. But, like, it's still good. Anyway. Tell us to do a Peacemaker review.
I wouldn't mind.
We'll do it. We like Peacemaker. And with that, we'll go ahead and end our first story in our second segment, and we'll move on to our second story, in which YouTubers and content creators alike continue to make waves in cinema and entertainment beyond their respective platforms. Jake, this is for us.
Oh, sorry. Dune, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, The Odyssey. List goes on. Continue. Sorry. 2026 is gonna be crazy
For Warner Brothers. A Spider-Man movie at Warner Brothers?
No, not for Warner.
Oh,
I'm just saying what's all coming out. The Odyssey, Dune, and Spider. That's why I was like, I was missing some stuff. I needed to bolster myself. All right, sorry to
No, it's okay.
next segment.
Now we're going on to the second story, in which, again, Jake, this is for us. YouTubers and content creators making waves in cinema and Hollywood beyond their platforms. Last week, we talked about Kane Parsons, who, if you don't remember, is the 20-year-old YouTuber turned director making waves not only from his YouTube luminal horror, The Backrooms, but as well as in Hollywood with his direction of the film adaptation at A24. This seems to be another step in the ladder of a growing trend amongst production houses, as recently Neon and Mike Flanagan produced Shelby Oaks, and that has been making the rounds on social media through promotion and critical review. A lot of people are excited for it, and we'll get into what people think about it. But from YouTube critic turned director Chris Struckman, who is, again, the director of Shelby Oaks, this film has been described as Silent Hill meets Blair Witch, or Blair Witch for the modern audience. So high praise for this film before it even it has been released. According to Empire Online, the film follows, quote, a woman's, who they have the actress Camille Sullivan, desperate search for her long-lost sister, fall into obsession upon realizing that the imaginary demon from their childhood may have been real, which I think sounds pretty interesting. So Empire further describes the film as having it all. From, you talk about a creepy VHS tape, bloody tragedies, a missing person mystery, and a score courtesy of Mike Flanagan regular collaborators, the Newton brothers, which that's a quote from Empire, by the way. This film has it all. After entertaining audiences for nearly a decade with his film, video game, and anime-centric content on his YouTube channel, simply titled his name, Struckman launched into a massively successful Kickstarter campaign, which saw over 14,700 people donate up to $1.3 million to funding Shelby Oaks. You can look up the fundraiser now on Kickstarter. The numbers are crazy. Shelby Oaks follows up 2 award-winning short films from Struckman titled Notes from Melanie and Auditorium 6. Fast forward, and horror heavyweights Neon and Mike Flanagan attach themselves to the project, and Struckman has himself a major motion picture. Besides Parsons and Struckman, we've already seen YouTubers jump from the platform and make waves in the film world. Remember A24's strange yet enigmatic horror films Talk to Me and Bring Her Back? Both of those are from directors Michael and Danny Filipao, otherwise known as the Filipao Brothers, or Raka Raka on YouTube.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's them. Crazy
Jeez.
business. So, all that to say, we've seen this a lot. At least up to this point. It is a growing trend. While we up to this point have harped on YouTubers taking a chunk out of mass media and entertainment, it goes without being said that TikTokers and podcasters also take up similar spaces with the same audiences when it comes to content creation. So if you're watching YouTube, you're probably listening to a podcast and you're probably on TikTok. More likely than not. This takes us to the most recent season of SNL. I know, big jump, right? Season 51 just kicked off, and just before, we saw major players depart the NBC's long-running comedy skit show, including longtime performers Heidi Gardner, Michael Longfellow, Devon Walker, and more, or Devin Walker, sorry, all of which had at least 3 seasons under their belts, with Gardner leaving after 8 seasons. How did NBC go about replacing this talent? Well, if you've been paying attention at all up to this point, most of those are content creators who built their audiences online. The new cast includes, as according to the Daily's newsletter, quote, TikTok creator Veronica Slawkowska, Jeremy Culhane from Gen Z's comedy platform Dropout, and stand-up Cam Patterson from the Austin comedy scene. So, a lot going on. With all that said, what do we think about major players in Hollywood and beyond plucking talent from the world of content creation? Is this a swing to draw in younger audiences or a goldmine for talent beyond major acting schools like Juilliard, NYU, and Carnegie?
I think it's a gold mine. Something I saw today, actually, it was more marketing oriented, about they're not influencers anymore, they're content creators. Like, so, and they're the new frontier for ads, right? I mean, we all get the TikToks, like people pushing TikTok shop items and stuff like that, and there are active studies going on, or there has been studies going on utilizing these content creators. Um, I feel like I'm moving in slow motion.
You are. Keep going, keep going.
um, so while I try to fix my camera while talking, basically, see if that does anything.
Oh,
Oh,
he's disappeared.
and it seems to.
Ah! Oh, there he is. He's back.
We back? Are we
Jake's
back?
Yeah. Sorry, our audio listeners.
Okay.
Jake
Okay.
came back
So,
baked to. Oh my gosh! Go back,
Thank-
please. Watch that on Spotify and YouTube. That was a good moment. Continue. Jake.
so they're seeing that these creators are like the ROI on them, like you don't have to pay them like crazy amounts of money like you might have to with like Google Ads. Google Ads can take like eat your lunch, like if you're not careful, and it just run and take thousands from you, and you might get clicks, and maybe some of them will convert. Whereas you can build a brand utilizing a face everybody already likes. And I mean, this goes back to, ambassadors. Like, this is nothing new outside of the type of brand ambassador people are using. And so you couple that with amazing, like, filmmaking and content creation. This is not something that surprises me in any way in terms of like the skill, I guess. It's like untapped potential that everybody kind of like shooed away and didn't think it was. I was like, no, these guys are practicing the same techniques and skills and generating a following that's much larger than any short film or indie film or like smaller production could ever dream that was possible for them. All they had to do was was post, like, you're already recording, cut it
Yeah.
up, make it vertical, and post it. And
Yeah.
that's all you have to do. Besides, like, I don't know, put a face to it. People generally like human interaction, and so our face is right here. That is one of the main reasons we're on video. Um, so it is another conduit in which we connect with you all, for those watching on YouTube, for those watching on Spotify, and not
Yeah.
just listening.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason we sought out a platform to do video,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because content creators are. I mean, we all knew they were the future, but we're encroaching on other facets of media, and it's like A24 is like the Backrooms is a great example. Like,
Yeah.
if that succeeds, it's gonna like cause a wave, and a good one at that. Like, it's not like
Oh yeah.
tsunami is a bad omen. No, this is gonna create waves that is leaps and bounds awesome. Like I hope IPs like the Digital Circus. Ryan put me on that. I have seen all of it.
And
Waiting on
isn't it
like
great?
episode 7, like needing episode 7. Um, I think like what's crazy is like Has Been Hotel was like a YouTube series,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's on Amazon Prime. And then there's another one too, right? There's a um, I don't remember what same creator, right?
Yeah, of Has Been. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name though.
Off the top of my head, but like that is it just goes to show you, right?
Yeah,
So uh, I think it's a gold mine for talent, and I kind of pointed this out uh, several months ago with like you start seeing TikTok stars being cast in
yeah,
smaller stuff, um, mainly skit like TikTokers. They just come up with their own comedy
yeah.
content and then act it out. That is no different. They are
No,
just talking to a phone rather than like people or to a camera, right?
yeah,
So there are numerous people on TikTok alone doing skits that is no different from a comedy special.
yeah.
So
No, I, it's you took an interesting approach, and the reason I love talking about this, especially because this is making waves on just in the news headlines, and especially media news or entertainment news. And the reason I love it so much is because it connects a lot of stuff we talked about last week with Taylor Swift, in the
yeah,
sense of Taylor used her marketing team, as in not her marketing team, her almost 600 million followers across all of her accounts to promote her film in 2 weeks and got $50 million out of it. This is
right.
taking a more traditional cinematic approach where you use Kane Parsons, you use Struckman, and they're pulling from their already grown audience to create things that they are hungry to see. As if they're going to their YouTube, they're just going to go to the theater, and they're using that as another platform to promote, which is something we talked about last week about people going to theater chains and trying to use their platform or their audience to promote their stuff. Something you mentioned that was really interesting is that like the idea of like the influencer is dying and now they're content creators. I would argue that that's two different types of content. I think a content creator is made specifically to entertain, while an influencer is made they're there to do what their title suggests. They're
Mhm.
there to
This was a renaming, is what the
right,
post that I saw.
which
It
I
was a LinkedIn post, but they were like, they're no longer influencers; they're
right.
content create.
They
Like
might
they
not call
renamed them.
themselves that, but that's
Yeah,
totally two different types of like again, when you look at the people who are making waves, Chris Struckman, if you look at his YouTube channel, he's not an influencer. He's a film review. He just is a critic. And he
yeah,
said I could make one of these, and that is not an influencer per se. An influencer is like day in the life. Let's do like an at home stream. Let's do it like they're trying to influence people. Whereas I don't feel like Struckman was trying to do that. I don't feel like Kane Parsons was trying to do that. I feel like they're just trying to make their art, and that's why they're
mhm.
creators, and not to say that an influencer can't be a content creator because there is some overlap, but it's I think that those are two separate types of content. A content creator
which
specifically is there for entertainment.
which is likely why marketers are seeking out content creators because I we're gonna see this in the next few months if I think it's sooner than later, but it could be a year where you're gonna see this shift. I think I'm gonna toot my own horn here. I think I'm already there where if I can see an ad from a mile away, and we've always said that we can see ads a whole lot better than probably the past generation, and then definitely the generation before them is like as soon like we're already microseconds or milliseconds scanning the screen to see any kind of notion that this is an ad,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if there's a little thing at the bottom that says this is, this creator is supported with commission, or there's like a TikTok shop thing right there, swipe
Yeah.
immediately. Like I sit next to somebody who's in their 40s who said they watched their partner just swiping on TikTok, and he's like, I don't know how you guys realize what you're looking at. And I started noticing in the past few weeks is it's like every two it's a TikTok shop ad, and then it's another one, like they're usually back to back, and
Yeah.
then you get regular content for 2 or 3, and it's back to a TikTok shop one.
Yeah.
And so back to like content creators versus influencers, the shift is I'm going to ask these Whistle and Diesel or like big names that are more content creator driven to also push blank, right?
Yeah.
So something that I follow on TikTok as a car guy is this guy bought a car, and it's generally a, I mean, it's an no, what is it? Honda Integra, I believe, or
Hmm.
no, Acura Integra. It could be an Acura. I'm not sure exactly. It's not my favorite car, but it is a crazy case study because he um, asks the viewers to like watch, like, share. He's part of the creator, uh, what is it called, fund or something
Yeah,
through
yeah, yeah.
TikTok, and he gets paid per view, per like, per share, per comment. And every week or so, he will say, "This is how much money we've made this past week. Um, let's go buy like a part for this car to build it up." And so it used to be kind of a clunker, and now it's like new body panels. It's got
Wow.
like new engine. Like he was able to buy a whole new engine. He's like up to like $8,000 total made from TikTok, and he's putting it into his dream car, making it his dream car. He just bought wheels for it, I think is the last episode.
Wow.
And so he's spending the money and being, I don't know how, like, if he's lying, but he's being transparent with where the money's going. It's like, this is the engine, $2,000. And he takes it off the total of what he has. Um, and it's like, and he gives reasons, and he's also creating content um that's like, this is how you do this, this is how you like install this body panel or
That's
remove the old one.
sick.
And so he's like, this is what you guys have bought, this is how to install it.
He's it's like he's providing a service.
Yes, so he's not only teaching, but he's also like entertaining in a way that like you get to live vicariously through him building his favorite car.
Yeah.
But he's recently been getting deals with like TikTok shop um, items that are car oriented, and he is like utilizing cleaners and vacuums and like TikTok shop stuff that's probably not like high quality at by any means, but everybody in the comments is sympathetic to it, whereas in other creators that they wouldn't be, where they're more negative and it's like, come on, quit pushing this crap. In the comments, they're like, go get that bag, like
It's got to be
they're like
because he was
saying,
so
heck yeah.
transparent.
Yeah, well, and they're like, "Heck yeah, get these deals so we can see more car mods." Like everybody's super hyping it up, and I don't know if the brand or the product is actually selling because of it, but it's likely that some people see this and see the video of it actually being used by somebody who's willing to utilize it on their dream car, if it's a cleaner or something like that, putting it on the paint and seeing it work is a whole lot different than watching a commercial for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And long-winded, to back up the whole content creator from marketing side, is that is like a success story that I'm kicking myself in the butt, because I'll mention the motorcycle here again, is I thought about doing it with the bike, and I was just like, I it would take so much time out of my day, and I didn't want to push the project back by recording and editing
Hmm.
and becoming a content creator, because I don't like being in front of the camera, and that was my biggest hurdle. But that's what, like, there are people out there who do that, and it works really, really well. The Honda guy being um, the obvious success story. So
Yeah. And well, thing is too is like the reason you bring that up is because again we're talking about being able to use a platform as a marketing tool, and that is another reason why you have people like Neon and Mike Flanagan. Also, they probably thought it's a great story, like that they have to be interested in the story of
yeah,
Chris Struckman and Shelby Oaks to even want to do it. But the idea that this guy raised over $1 million from crowdfunding alone. And now all of a sudden that's
yeah,
that much more money. And the thing is, these horror films aren't that expensive. Usually they're around 5 million or more, maybe a little more. So you're talking about you're already 20% less spending, which is going to go who else wherever they want to go for an indie film company like Neon or an indie film distributor. So it's like it's interesting to see how that marketing side is influencing decisions. To go back to the question about whether or not I do think there is a point of, hey, we're Warner Brothers, we're NBC, we're Saturday Night Live, we are Neon. Our people that we've gone with for the past 30, 40 years and the way we've done business isn't working. So let's try to get to this younger audience by going with people they're already into. I think there is a big part of that, but also I just think there's so much talent out there. That's why the goldmine question exists, is because it's like only a certain population can get into Juilliard. Only a certain population can get into NYU, can get into one name X California acting school, right? So it's like to see, or I think it's Cal Berkeley is the big one, to see them go outside of that avenue. And a part of me does hate that for those people who work their hard, like as hard as they do throughout their life to get into those schools, and now they're not really being paid attention to as much. But also, it's cool to see that now the realm of content creation and independent, like just filmmaking, has made it to where now you almost feel like you have a shot. It's still super
Yeah.
low, but it's like the percentage went from, let's say, like 0.5 to now like 1%. So now it's like more people are going to get looked at. There is now more of a pool that you're going to feel like you can be pulled from these big, not just from an audience to find you, but from these big production houses. And so it's interesting. I find this to be very inspiring as someone who is a couple of people here who want to make stuff like this. But yeah, I really find it interesting how Hollywood has responded to the modern technological advances in social media and how they're pulling from that.
Which it's likely that those schools are seeking out creators like that. I mean, it's I don't know money wise or if it's scholarship wise or like there are programs that are like if you're a content creator, you probably have a better chance at getting in
Oh yeah.
depending on like your fame, I guess.
That's going to
So
be the response from, again, Juilliard, when they realize that their people aren't getting as many
right.
calls. They're going to say, okay, as a part of our curriculum, not only do you have to have been in this art school for as long as this, you have to be, not only you have to have these test scores, but what's your following? How many
Yeah.
how many films have you made? How many films have you been into? How many followers do you have?
Or they will seek out those creators
Yeah.
and give them scholarships or
Talk
rides.
about dystopian.
Yeah.
That's like, that is literally that episode of Black Mirror where it's like everyone's walking around with their follower count like on their chest, and depending on how
Yeah.
many up or down votes you get is like you can't be served coffee. Like that's what that feels like. We're
Right.
not gonna. You have all the test scores and you have the relevant experience, but you only have 100,000 followers, dude. You're not getting to Juilliard. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like that's what I mean, that's what the fallout's gonna be. Because again, if they're pulling from at the average Joe on TikTok instead of going to Cal Berkeley is gonna
Yeah.
say no, and they're going to make that response. Anyway, we've been on this topic for a while, and I think it's time to move on into our last segment. But I still find this a very interesting topic of conversation, and I will be very interested to see how these things continue to fall out. And just going back to just the last thing I'll say, the Philip Howe brothers, Kane Parsons, and Chris Struckman, true inspirations. That is like, I cannot tell you how exciting it is to see stuff like that from the realm of where we are and where people a lot like us want to be and the people around us. So the arts run the world is what I'll say. The arts give the world some meaning. So it's exciting to see it get this kind of push. So anyway, with that out of the way, coming up after the break, as always, we have trailers and what you should know before you go. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 3, which again, we'll tell you some trailers, we'll show you the trailers, tell you what we think, and then we'll walk you through the rest of the news that happened this past week, or at least the major news, and give you a little bit of a heads up. Usually, for those, again, uninitiated and new to the show, what you should know before you go is our little tidbit of information where we will walk you through the big headlines that didn't really need a 15 to 20-minute splurge of information or a debate. It is, the headlines are what they are. We'll still talk about them a little bit, but we still think you should know. Anyway, as I always do every week when we get to segment 3, I always kind of take a bit of a pause to tell you guys how thankful. Because again, even though Emily's not here, the fact that I get to make this with two of my best friends, and especially Jake, I get to sit across from you and I get to just blab, and you look at me most of the time like, and you
This
know
guy.
what? I love it. Yeah, I cannot. I'm so thankful for you and the fact that you put up with me and that we're here and that we get to talk about the things that we enjoy and love. But especially I'm thankful for you at home because you guys allow this to happen. Whether it's however many views a week or whether it's however many likes, the fact that you give us a platform and allow us to have fun this way is amazing. And I cannot say how thankful I am for that. Be on the lookout because we're always looking to grow the show. We're always looking for new ways to innovate and new ways to grab your attention and make you guys feel involved. So if you have ideas that you'd like to see from us, let us know. But if not, keep your eyes peeled because there might be some things that me and Jake have been talking about.
24-hour stream.
Let's go,
dude. Movie marathon.
Actually, be kind of sick, but maybe not 24 hours. But maybe not 24 hours, but 6-hour movie stream. No, but anyway, let us know if you'd like a live stream at some point.
We're getting copyrighted.
I think that'd be fun. Yeah, we are definitely getting copywritten. Copywritten today, actually. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get into our trailers. So we have 4 new trailers for you today. That being Shelby Oaks, and we talked a lot about them today. Wonder Man, which is from Marvel. Die My Love from Mubi. And Young Washington, which came out today. Brand spanking new. So we have
hot off the presses just for y'all.
Just for you. So we're going to start with Shelby Oaks.
Riley Brennan is now missing. She was last seen in Shelby Oaks.
There is a dark and deeply haunted history in the woods of Shelby Oaks. My sister isn't the first to go missing.
What the heck?
Yeah, what the heck was that? It really does feel like Blair Witch. It also kind of feels like The Ring a little bit. It kind of gave me the aesthetic of Ringu. I liked it. In terms of the trailer, I am excited to see where it goes. It also kind of feels like, I don't know, not Long Legs exactly, but kind of like Long Legs. I would say go watch it. Like that. I guess that's the only thing I could say is like just be in theaters because I don't. Outside of everything. Well, Jake won't. But outside of everything we've already talked about, it just feels like it's going to be something we talk about for a while. Shelby Oaks feels like
I won't.
Well, I will. I am thrilled to see where this goes. I love the way that I mean, Jake, the way you cut the trailer was really well. I think it implemented all the elements that were in the full. I don't know. I'm excited to see where this goes.
I saw the last shot was like a guy in a tracksuit running around a corner, and they made it scary.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. It literally looked like somebody in a tracksuit just taking a jog around a corner.
Yeah,
and what made it scary was a 4x3 camcorder view.
I love the idea that like he was just a guy and he got scared just as much as they were.
That's what it looked like. Yeah. It just looked like a guy running around the corner with like.
What are you doing in my house?
I don't know if you could see it in the trailer as well, but like on YouTube, he's literally looks like he's wearing like an Adidas like jacket.
Yeah.
Zipped up.
So I don't know. It just again, it seems very interesting. The idea of like this seems less of the occult and witch. It seems just more like straight paranormal, like possession. Yeah. Again, we talked before in the last segment how it's demons and how her sister's imaginary friend might be real. It just feels like there's a lot of different places that this is going to go, and I'm interested to see where it connects. Like, why does the sister have the tape? Why was the other sister out in the woods with her friends? Apparently, like why is the demon attacking? Like all these things that draw me in. I feel like that they did a very good job with the trailer at leaving open. So I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested. Any thoughts, Jake?
Moving on.
Nope. The guy does not like horror. Yeah.
I will not.
Well, I guess that's as good a comment as any. And we'll go ahead and get on to our second trailer for you guys, which is Wonder Man.
The entertainment world is stunned today when internationally celebrated and reclusive filmmaker Von Kovac sprung out of retirement to sign on for a remake of Wonder Man. Mr. Von Kovac, could you tell us more?
Everyone is tired of superheroes. There is an opportunity to reimagine a whole genre of storytelling.
Have you thought about casting?
Did you hear about Wonder Man? I need to be in this movie.
Sorry, you crazy.
I was born to play this character. And action! Any news from Von Kovac?
There is news, you'll be the first to know, unless you call me again, in which case I will never tell you.
I thought that was funny. That's why I left it in.
All right, Jake. This is you. I talked a lot on the last one. I want to
Oh.
give you the floor for this one.
I have a dent in my headset. So I don't know much about this other than it is a Marvel Studios movie, right?
Yes.
But it's not a superhero movie as much as it is like the casting for a superhero movie. Wonder Man is a real comic book character. I'm not sure his power set, but Ryan might be able to look that up for me while I yap about it. The only thing that I know a lot about this movie is that who'd you say it was? The Mandarin is in it. It's
Yeah,
like he's
Kingsley.
yeah, Kingsley is a side character, so that's his last name. What's his? Sorry,
Hold on,
I
I'm
missed
looking
the
it
first
up.
name.
Hold on. Sorry, I was reading Wonder Man's
It's all good.
power. Let me find it.
Kingsley,
Is it Ben?
like
Ben Kingsley. That's it.
Ben Kingsley is a hilarious side character in this. So we're following. I forget his name now. Okay, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Yaha, yeah. Why?
I avoided trying to say his name.
Okay, Abdul Mateen the second, and it really looks like a fun movie. But the movie poster that we showed before we got started with the trailers, a lot of speculation is that's AI.
Huh?
Yeah, the movie poster I had Ryan put up there, and I didn't tell him this when we used it. I'm gonna see if I can't find it again, and I'll see if he can't put it up for you guys.
Well, I
while
mean, I
he's
could put it right here.
multitasking
You
so
could
much.
you could probably see it right here. It's the second
Yeah.
one.
So Wonder Man, that movie poster, a lot of people are zooming in on it and saying, "Hey, there's some inconsistencies here that point to this being AI generated."
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's true. We'll likely never know. So yeah, that's pretty much all I know about Wonder Man. I'm sure Dad knows about him from the comic book age. But yeah, what you got, Ryan?
So I'm interested to see where this goes because when I look up Wonder Man, and I'm reading kind of his character's backstory.
This is a mini series. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm reading. What's interesting here is if this follows the comics in any means, because I don't see where in the comics he was like a character or like a franchise within a franchise, right? Like in this, they're casting for the movie Wonder Man, and in the comics, he seems to be a very real character who his name is Simon Williams. He inherits a munitions factory after his father's death. Do you guess who his competitor was in the comics? Tony Stark and Stark Industries. So Simon, after apparently the way that it's put in Wikipedia, according to like in the original run of his story arc in the comics, he takes advice from his brother Eric and embezzles funds from his company, but is caught and incarcerated, only to be bought out or to be bailed out by Baron Zemo. And
that guy.
Baron Zemo is like, hey, you're going to do what I tell you to. And he's like, okay. Yeah. Now, for those who don't remember, Baron Zemo was a guy who brainwashed or at least had control of Bucky Barnes when it came to Bucky's return to the present against Cap. So, and Zemo kind of had like a turn for the good at some point in one of the miniseries that we saw. But yeah, so Zemo takes control of Simon Williams, and apparently somewhere along the way, Simon Williams gains superhuman powers due to chemical and radiation treatments from ionic energy by Baron Zemo, giving him superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes.
Yeah.
The process unexpectedly enhanced. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, in this series, it seems that he just gets his powers while auditioning for a character. That's all the the synopsis says on IMDb. It
Interesting.
just says that Hollywood actor Simon Williams is thrust into the world of superheroes as he gets powers of his own and becomes the new superhero Wonder Man.
So he auditions for the role of a fictional character within
Yeah.
within the MCU, and then becomes
And
that character.
The Mandarin, who's played by Ben Kingsley in the third Iron Man, is actually just it's the same film. Trevor Slattery it's the same guy. He's literally like, this is same universe. Trevor is the Mandarin, and he's also going up against Simon Williams. They're best buddies, but they're also applying for the same role. And so this is like a crazy tie back to Iron Man 3, where you have Ben Kingsley's character reprising Trevor Slattery
Interesting.
and going after another film role. And they do point fun to, I thought this was like what you had said, a reference to film world as a Hollywood movie. No, this is straight up still Marvel Universe continuities there, because they were like, where have I seen this guy before? And then somebody said, I think he was a terrorist, which is 100% true in this universe because they likely saw him as a terrorist on the television.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm into this. And I'll tell you why. Is because this seems so unique. Like it would have been one thing if they
Yes.
were like, remember Simon Williams that we never mentioned before? He's always been there, and turns out he was a rival of Tony Stark. Ha ha ha. Like they could have easily done that, and that would have totally ruined the character. But the fact that they're like, oh yeah, like this is an original take on a guy. I'm just curious if because if you remember, not to spoil Iron Man 3, the Mandarin was just a front. He was never a real terrorist. Like he was an actor paid to play the face of a terrorist group so that the real face of the terrorist group, or head of the table, if you will, could do his dastardly deeds and people wouldn't go for him. So
And people thought that it was going to be Nathan Fillion
yeah.
way back when. But they ended up casting Abdul Mateen. Fillion actually voiced Wonder Man in MODOK, which I think was an animated, on Hulu.
Yes. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see how he gets his powers. I'm interested to see how this connects. It would be cool if there was still some sort of connection to Stark Industries in some way, shape, or form. Like maybe he became an actor and he left the munitions field because Stark Industries put his father's business out of business. So it's like that would be like an interesting little like take, and it's like he is, regardless, he's going to find a way to get into heroism. But I would like to see some sort of tie back. But I love that it's super unique. Very cool.
Yeah, it's no longer like talking about Tony Stark. This is a whole new take.
I can get behind that. I might. I'm not really into the MCU shows, but I might watch that one.
Yeah, it means you have to get Disney Plus.
I mooch it
Oh,
off my mom.
what's your mom watching? Lion King?
My mom has a lot of kids, man.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a young
Right.
I have a young brother. Remember?
which one?
Exactly.
Weren't you like of 6?
I'm one of 5.
5.
Yeah, I'm the firstborn.
Old.
Yeah, I'm an old head. On that note,
Moving on
why-
down the list.
I'm
We're
gonna
only
have-
halfway
I'm gonna
through
have-
the trailers.
I'm gonna have 49 segments to be 49 segments, 49 seconds to be sad as I show you the next trailer of Die My Love.
She don't like her eggs all runny. She looks down her nose at money. She gets it on like the Easter bunny. She's my baby, I'm his honey. I'm never gonna let her go.
Where's your book going, by the way?
Main character is about to batter her husband to death with a hammer.
Shut
Grace.
Grace, stop it.
Don't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes.
Well, that took
Crazy.
a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hard one to cut up or cut down to 40 something seconds, because I don't want to like inundate you guys with full trailers of 2-minute plus 3-minute stuff. But like that was a hard one to really tell the story and I shoot for 30 seconds, and that was like Ryan said, 48 and some change, 49 rounded up. So I don't know if I'll be in the seats for that one. It seems like a thriller, but like it is a Pattinson, which we all know has to be good. So I don't know. I don't know what the message is here or the context of her um, emotional switch up there, because it was like lovey dovey, and now she's gonna beat him with a stick or something. So
Is the idea that there was always something wrong behind the scenes, and then like it's just boiling up?
yeah, maybe it's a mental health film or something like that. So
Although, I mean, J Law, Jennifer Lawrence, and Robert Pattinson are, I mean, amazing in their own
yeah,
rights. So it's exciting to see them together. This is a movie film, as
this
we
is a
talked about.
silver linings type deal.
Oh God, not again. But no, it's going to be interesting. This is another one of those. I don't even know, is like Mubi considered independent? I feel so naive for asking that, but it's like I don't recognize a lot of Mubi films.
What's that? Mubi, Mubi.
Yeah. Which is the name of technically the company behind it.
They have not done crazy big stuff. Now that I'm looking through their stuff, no, sorry for the dead
Mubi,
air, folks.
See, this
but
is what I remember. Is like it was technically it's a streaming service, is what I remember it being. And so it's
interesting.
odd that it's like, is this a Mubi original?
Mubi original.
Mubi original movies.
Yeah, it's a British streaming service or platform, and production company and film distributor.
Apparently, I mean, it's got a list. Apparently, films produced: The Mastermind, Bring Them Down, Magic Farm, Bengali Variation, Gasoline Rainbow. So I guess this is like the next one in their kind of like list as they continue to pump out new originals. But I don't know Mubi that well. Again, British streaming platform, production company, and film distributor. So is this their? I wonder if this is their way to break into the American market.
Maybe. Finally got the list of releases here. I mean, they've got big names in them though, like Barry Keoghan. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, Barry, isn't it Keegan?
Keegan, sorry, Keegan. And the guy we just saw in the Wonder Man with the director, I'm not sure his name. The Substance was a movie.
I don't think it was.
Is that wrong?
No, I don't think. I think it's just on their platform, because remember they are a
sorry.
streamer.
Maybe they didn't come out with that one then. I thought that was their list of. Dang. 7 best movie originals you must watch.
Oh, isn't that Newsweek?
We were unprepared. Yeah, this is Newsweek.
Well, we did. This was a last minute change. We weren't going to talk about it, but then we saw it. Jake saw it. This was a good call from Jake.
Is listed as a movie exclusive.
I bet it's exclusive to the British audience, because this is a very British streaming platform. So I wonder if, like, in the UK, you can only watch it on Mubi.
I'm trying to find who Mubi distributed it.
What? Mubi? The Substance is a Mubi original?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Huh.
Yep. Yeah, that's why it kept popping up. I was like, they also have a movie called Cow. The documentary that will make you think twice about every time you bite into a burger.
Huh.
Yeah. Silver Lake, Under the Silver Lake, After Sun, Priscilla. Priscilla was them. So yeah.
Why do I
queer.
not? Huh.
I can say that. That's a movie title.
I was gonna move on from it. I was gonna ignore it, and then you kept going.
So anyway, we can move on, but like Mubi has one big one out there. But I mean, there is a Daniel Craig, like High and Low. I think that's Daniel Craig. No, Queer. Sorry, Queer had Daniel Craig in it. A24. But apparently they also distributed that.
Again, that's probably in the UK.
Ah.
Good for them, though. good for them.
Movie's coming up.
Yeah, this seems like Mubi on the come up. This seems like
On the coming out the
another
mud.
banger for them. This seems like, I mean, the substance was great. I think this is just going to be another one in the repertoire if they are on the come up. Good for them.
They do remind me of an A24. They do seem to be trying to do the same ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Seems
they
to
partnered
work.
together. If A24 and them worked on what was the film you just named?
You're gonna make me say it again.
No, oh, I guess they're never mind. Sorry, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
That'll be the third time. Then they
No.
get me.
Now they can get you. Yeah, no. They have partnered with A24 before, so it wouldn't be shocking if they were trying to be along the same lines and continue working with them.
Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to our final trailer for you guys, which is Young Washington.
What happened, Washington? All those bullet holes in your jacket. How are you alive?
I don't know. You have no military service. You are a boy. You are not British, yet they send you to speak for them. So that when you fail, they'll have someone to blame.
Speaking of Ben Kingsley,
Yeah, 2 films
he's back.
coming out near the same time. No wonder he's been busy. He has been out of the light for some time. Now we know that he's been acting.
He's actors.
So this takes place before the creation of the United States of America, and he is elected first president, given away by young Washington. He is a boy who is turned into a commander from a surveyor. So he was a surveyor. He was telescoping and surveying land in the New World, and he's put in a commander position and leading I assume a battalion of British soldiers. And I'm unsure how this. I've not read up on George Washington's history, but I am unsure how this movie will tell like his I wouldn't say it's a betrayal, but likely to the British Army to begin the revolution.
I think it's funny you say that. Like, I haven't read up on the history of George Washington. I know what you mean. You mean like every step in his journey. But it's funny
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, our first president, don't know him.
Well, we focus from like the point where he's leading the war
Yeah.
till his death, and it's not like that's why this film's coming out.
Yeah.
Is because somebody thought that there was a story there prior.
Yeah.
And there, I mean, if this is any way, shape, or form true, then there definitely was. And so, yeah, George Washington was a soldier in the British Army beforehand, and I mean that makes sense. I'm not read up on that prior to being elected, or I know from probably when he crossed that river during Christmas and killed a bunch of British people,
Right.
British soldiers. So, and then presidency and wooden teeth, and he chopped down a tree, and he doesn't tell a lie, but he does somehow.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about this is was your comments before we even started recording was like you felt very patriotic, and
Yeah.
but not only that was like, and I think that we had this conversation back and forth if I remember correctly exactly how we said it. This is going to do for George Washington what Daniel Day-Lewis did for Lincoln, where it's just aura farming, and it's making Washington, I mean, the first president of the United States and the general that led the U.S. or what will become the U.S. over the British. I'm gonna sound so uneducated saying that, but the point is, I'm trying to get to like the film side of it. It's gonna do the same thing that Daniel Day-Lewis did for Lincoln. It's gonna make George Washington seem and like everyone's gonna love it. Cool. I love history pieces. I love historical fiction. I think it's gonna be really exciting, and I hope it's as accurate as it can be, because when you get into stuff like that, you want it to be real. Like to put it into perspective, but
Which I feel like I've heard about the holes in his jacket story. I feel
Yeah.
like that is something I've heard of, where he had a bunch of like 9 holes in his jacket, and he lived somehow.
Yeah.
But whether or not that's true,
I don't know. I mean, how many of those are wives' tale? You know, like how many of
Right.
those are like they going back to like he never tells a lie. Like it's
well,
just,
in the big 2-5, we're still talking about it, so the aura continues to
yeah.
to
I mean,
persist. It persists hundreds of 300 years later.
I tried to look up like a quick list, and I'm sure I just
250.
didn't. I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I wanted to look up a quick list of like myths versus fact of George Washington, because I'm sure there's some website on it. But there was like a lot of different links, and I didn't want to feel like clicking through them and trying to read them to find one. But I feel like, yeah, this is leading up to the running of the Continental Army, right? Like that's the whole shebang with this, and it looks like it's gonna be good. It looks very well done. I'm very excited to see it, and Ben Kingsley, everybody, the return. And with that, that is the end of our trailers, and we move on to what you should know before you go. So with that, we have, I think, what is it, 7 or 8 different pieces of news for you. I will run through those fairly quickly as I'm trying to get rid of banner upon banner. I apologize for the delay, everybody. And there we go. Ha! So, there we go. I'm going to run through these really quickly, and then we will talk about the ones that interest us most, and then get you guys out of here. So, what you should know. Megan Fox has been named the voice of the voice actor of Toy Chica, and Matt Pat as Toy Bonnie in the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Duolingo teams with the studio behind hit series like Big Mouth and Star Trek Lower Decks to release an anime following the origins of the titular guilt-tripping language-teaching bird named Duo. The series is titled The Final Test and consists of 5 60-second-long episodes, so very quick. Lee Pace has officially been cast as the character Thrag for Invincible Season 4. The Simpsons Movie 2 and a Minecraft Movie 2 will now both release on July 23rd, 2027. As reported by media outlet Puck News, every episode of Stranger Things Season 5 will be over 90 minutes long. I'll let that one sit for a minute because that's a big one. Actor George Clooney confirms that an Ocean's 11 sequel titled Ocean's 14 is officially in development. Director Damien Chazelle's next film is going to be a prison set, in quotation marks, film. Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig are both set to star. And lastly, and we'll talk about this one a little bit more in depth, director Ryan Johnson flip-flops opinion on the immediate future of his Knives Out franchise.
And so did Ryan, putting that quick hit in there.
Only because he said so much in such a short amount of time, I didn't want to take the time to, because it could have been its whole story. But we'll talk about it quickly.
And it could be inaccurate by the end of this.
Honestly,
this
yeah,
podcast.
He could say another thing, and it just completely throws what we're saying out of.
But I thought it was funny that Ryan was flip-flopping on whether or not to keep it in there, and I was like, well, "Come on, Ryan, now you have to."
Yeah. So
I mean, you can't just say something. How many times was it? Technically 3.
Yeah.
One thing, flip to another, then flip back.
So I don't even think he flipped back. So he said, if we talked about it, it was one of our stories. We talked about it a number of months ago, where he's like, I only want to tell the right story. He's like, we actually went in depth about how like you got to end it when it's right. And he was like, yeah, I don't know how long these will go. In essence, that's what he said. Well, then recently this last week, he was like, I'm reinvigorated after this one. I could make these for 20 years. I could make these for the rest of my life.
I could just keep making Knives Out films for the rest of his life.
With the caveat being, in that everyone was pointing out that his deal with Netflix ends after Wake Up Dead Man. So it's like he no longer has a deal with Netflix to keep producing these, but he's saying that. And then today, according to Deadline, he's like, I'm actually taking a break. I'm writing another film. And so it's like...
So until we know what that other film is, it's likely that he was reminded of his short-lived contract with Netflix, and he's like, right.
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay. And now he's back to where he was originally. Not necessarily that he was not going to do Knives Out, but that he's going to be doing something else.
Who knows? I mean, honestly, I think it's a thing. Will we see Knives Out? What is this? This is going to be 3. So yeah. So will we see Knives Out 4? Probably, but who knows when?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
You think
long time. If
well, we have to think though. How old is Daniel Craig?
He's about your age, getting up there.
Shut up. Yeah, getting up. He's 57. if there's a long
You're
wait,
not far off.
bro, come on. That's so unnecessary. You're not far off. You're almost there.
You almost look as good as George Clooney at your age.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I try. I will say my beard is going to go white so fast.
Can't wait.
Yeah. But anyway.
Me too, because ginger beards.
Ginger beards. But.
Can't wait for the salt and paprika.
Paprika?
The salt and paprika beard.
What would you even call that? Salt and I feel like it'd be, for me, it wouldn't be
well,
salt.
It's not pepper.
Paprika.
It's paprika.
No, but I'm thinking of like another, what is that, like chili flakes that you put in there?
Powder.
Chili flakes. Chili powder.
Salt and tahini.
Tahini. Anyway, we're so off topic. Anyway, I feel like if you wait too long, Daniel Craig's going to quickly age out of that role.
Yeah.
He's 57.
Then I'll have to cast you.
I'm up for it.
Do it. Do it. Do the impression.
Benoit Blanc. Are you kidding me? Do the impression. Guilt trip immediately.
So I think we might have mentioned Chazelle's next film in a prison, because I think we made the Shawshank reference that this is just going to be a new Shawshank. Or
Yeah,
we
might
have been talking about something else. But
I don't know.
I'm excited to see that. That's probably still going to be good, but until I know more, I can't speak on that much more. I am excited for Ocean's 14 because we get George Clooney back and hopefully Matt Damon and Brad Pitt and the whole deal. I can't wait to see gruff old guys still robbing casinos or banks or whatever they're going to do.
Jake, your blue collar is showing.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I was the only one last week that was excited for the other George Clooney that was a little bit more cutesy and romantic comedy style.
Someone say George Clooney?
I'm just into what George Clooney's doing. I actually thoroughly enjoyed Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And that is partly blue collar showing, but I thought that was a fun, but also really cool action where, he's just kind of, they are acting, but their banter back and forth in it was good. And I think that does come with having acted together for decades now.
Yeah.
But moving down the line, what else we got, Ryan? Stranger Things, 90-minute.
Good.
How many episodes?
They said that I remember the Duffy brothers saying that, or is it it's not the Duffer. Is it Duffy? I don't remember.
Duffer?
Is it the Duffer brothers?
Duffer.
I think it's Duffer. The Duffer brothers, I remember reading in an article forever ago that they were treating each episode like its own movie. So this only highlights that sentiment, if I'm remembering correctly. That is so much content. I'm excited for it just because I feel like this is a good way to end the series if you have a lot of story to tell. Great that they got that confirmed, and this is their series ending season 5. So good for them. It did take a really long time, and I know that they've caught a lot of flack for that, but we'll see. What the heck is the final test, dude? Duolingo. Of all people.
Time will tell. 60-second long episodes.
They're just quick shorts from what I had understood, but
yeah,
I just feel like that's a lot of money for nothing, for just promotional material, essentially.
So, yeah, I was going to say, so Big Mouth and Lower Deck, so this is going to be a raunchier 60-second episode.
I'm double checking. I just want to make sure that I didn't misread the 60, but I swear.
That's short, dude.
That's just 60-second episodes.
Five.
Yeah, there are 5 of them.
Why not just make
5-episode anime series? They're just 60-second episodes, but the move speaks to 2 big trends: anime's exploding global popularity and brands realizing that creating legitimate entertainment might be the smartest marketing play. And that's from the Daily's newsletter.
I think, going off of what you said, I think this is just like a ploy because they crashed so hard with AI.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And everybody hates Duolingo now, cancels subscriptions and never deleting the app and never touching it again because they fired the majority of their workforce and replaced them with AI.
They had the golden ticket because they were the meme. Everyone loved the bird. Everyone loved using what is the bird's name is now Duo as the joke.
Yeah.
and then they did it to themselves.
Threw it away.
Yeah.
Threw it away. And so now that it's 60 seconds is odd, but like I don't think they're going to get it back with this, but it's going to be interesting to see because this is something new, and it seems like they're trying whatever they can to get it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Simscraft. Moving on to Simscraft. Have you seen that?
Yes.
So
yes.
Simpsons movie 2 and the Minecraft movie 2 coming out on the same day, July 23rd, as Ryan specified, 2 years from now. I see people coining that Simscraft, and it could be another Barbenheimer level event. That with Doomsday.
Very rarely in the year we've done this show have I actually, this has never happened where they've said this is the next Barbenheimer, and I've been like, no, like it could be every
Yeah.
time. Because the thing is, we talked at nauseum about like, stop trying to manufacture that. That was a lightning in a
Yeah.
bottle. That was the one. Simscraft might be the one to do it just because of how hilarious it is.
What's going to be hard for Minecraft is to top the first one. I don't think so. I don't know. Like it's got to be almost more brain rot, right? I mean, there's to top it to like be as
If you
god awful.
if you just let Jack Black do his thing, because that's what they did.
Say Minecraft items.
What did you say? Jack Blackisms is what you described it as when we
Yeah.
talked about Minecraft earlier this year.
Well,
That's all you got to do.
we could just go with Jackisms, but
Jack as
never
well.
mind.
That's how you described it earlier. Don't do that to me now, because you definitely were the one who coined that term. But allow Jack Black to do his thing, his various isms, and I feel like you will succeed. I feel like that's where with a Minecraft movie, I feel like there's some level of security. Is like, yes, you do have to like up the ante. You do have to find a way to like continue. However, what made the first one so funny was that it was just like, or at least pull an audience, because it was very bad, was that it was just brain rot. There's not really a story there.
Right.
So, well, there was one, but it was just a story.
So the Simpsons movie 2, I mean, it might be being manufactured, but like, are we thinking that this is going to be crazy?
I feel
Ryan?
like
Are
we could
betting?
see something. It will not reach Barbenheimer. Let me make sure that this isn't misconstrued, because I'm not going out of my way to say Simscraft will match Barbenheimer. That is not what I'm saying at all, because neither one of these films will reach $1 billion, right? I think a Minecraft movie 2 will probably fall under the $957 million it made. The first one made, I should say. But I do think that this will be just the memes. I can see it now. Like just the internet taking control and allowing this to have fun is going to be something that I think this is the one thing. The Simpsons and Jack Black are the only things that could come close to drawing up as much hype as Christopher Nolan and Margot Robbie did for Barbenheimer. So,
And I mean, we've talked about every single quick hit so far. They're not quick much. We've got 2 left. I think I can go over Lee Pace being Thrag lightly, just saying I think that's a decent choice, and he'll probably do really well. Which is another thing coming out in 2026 is Invincible season 4. Gonna be crazy.
What do you know about Thrag, Jake? What do you know about Thrag?
Thrag was artificially created by some means. I don't think he was created on purpose to be the best Viltrumite ever and to lead. I know some of the comic book lore with Battle Beast. Spoiler: he wears Battle Beast, and I'll leave it at that. And he will go toe to toe with Mark, likely. I don't know if it'll be this season. Probably next season. Not the 4th one. I don't think we might see them fight, but I don't think this is going to be the one. We might not even see him battle Beast either. I'm not sure. So I don't know. I just think Lee Pace was just not the worst option. It's not necessarily who I thought they were going to cast. I saw a lot of other fan casting, but I don't think Lee Pace is a bad choice, and I think he'll do fine. And then the last one, I think you know a lot more about the whole reason why people are outraged by the Megan Fox pick.
Well, I also know the reason why people are excited about the Megan Fox pick. That one we won't go into as deep. People online were like, "Where's Markiplier?" And now, another content creator, a YouTuber he also makes movies. He's had some successful films, and he's hyping up another one. It's a adaptation of the video game Iron Lung. That's been in the works for a very long time now, but he's doing that. He was in a series called The Edge of Sleep. It was a audio drama that got turned into a series on Amazon. So the guy has done stuff like this before, and the fact that Matt Pat, who the legend of the game theorist himself, right, is now Bonnie. He appeared at the end of the first Five Nights at Freddy's. That guy that was like, "I have a theory," for those who don't watch YouTube.
He was the waiter.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that dude is a legend. That dude is a legend. He raised a lot of kids on video game content, and the reason that this is such a big deal is because he stepped away, and like Five Nights at Freddy's was like a big piece of the stuff he did. But Matt Pat stepped away from the Game Theorist, the YouTube channel, and now he's gone and lobbied the federal government for some sort of I don't know what the proper term of it would be, but there is now some sort of federal program catered towards content creators. He's now working in, I don't want to say working in politics because that's probably not like the only thing he's doing, but he has moved on. And so now to see him kind of get a role as Toy Bonnie and like actually be in this series and in this franchise that he very much helped popularize with Markiplier, which is why a lot of people were mad that Markiplier, who was very much the biggest creator that played the game and was obsessed with the lore, those two really helped make it so popular with their playthroughs and their content on it, videos breaking down said lore. That was, again, if you know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, the original lore is you have to read between the lines for everything. It's not really as straightforwardly like given to you. So those two being so into it and going through the playthroughs and their theory-driven content about what they think the story could be helped popularize the series. So I would even go as far as to argue, without those two, Markiplier and Matt Pat, Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, doesn't exist. So you have Matt Pat, and that's why a lot of people wanted Markiplier. And Megan Fox, I think they went with a name who is an established actor who could bring in an audience as Toy Chica. And I think they went with a safe route. But a lot of people wanted it to be Markiplier with a voice synthesizer on. But who knows? I'm excited to see. I love Matthew Lillard, so the thought of him coming back for this franchise is really exciting to me. I think Josh Hutcherson did a very good job in the first one, so I have no opinion on it. And with that, of course, and with that,
thank you for being nerd.
I can't help it. But
I did watch a little bit of Markiplier growing up. So
he's fun guy.
Yeah.
But with that, that is the end of our episode of Beyond the Screen. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking through for the hour and 50, almost 2 hours that we've sat and rambled about whatever. We will see you guys next week with another episode. Who knows?
Or this week.
Well, next week if you want to be here, but you will see us later this week. I almost forgot to plug again our review episode. Thank you, Jake. We'll be going over Tron Ares. Again, if you listen, don't go to the movies until we tell you should. That's what I'll say, because I'm just kidding. We'll tell you
guys have been sitting around for a while to go to the movies.
I'm just kidding. We will tell you whether Tron Ares is worth your time and money later this week. So we'll see you then, and then we'll see you next week. Goodbye.